Hello. I know this is a little different tone than my usual videos are, and sorry if this is kind of unexpected and weird, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about some pretty serious stuff, some personal stuff that's been happening to me lately, and sort of what I've taken from all of it. Sort of a big deal, so if this emotional stuff gets to you or you're not really that interested and would rather see some of my fun videos, you can come back another time. I'm sure I'll have more fun stuff up tomorrow. Um, In fact, I've got a couple projects coming up, but the first thing I want to talk about before you leave is that I'm moving my channel. All the content on this channel is completely varied. It's all across the board. I've got Let's Plays, I've got like podcasts, I've got goofy pranks I've done, and it's not really the focus of the channel anymore. Um, I hate to do this as soon as people have started getting interested in the channel and started subscribing, but I figure better now than later when I have more subscribers and more people watching, and then I have to, migrate all the videos and stuff. I just don't want to do that. So, I apologize for the inconvenience. Had I known before that I was really going to try to commit to this, I probably would have just made a new channel. But when I started this, I didn't even really know what I would name that channel. But now I do. I want to tell you the story about how it got its name. And so that's sort of what the series is about, because it's a longish story, and it's very personal to me. So, here I go. Yay! So the new channel is called Foamy Spit. It seems kind of weird, a little dirty. It's not, though. Before I tell you about why it's called Foamy Spit, I want to tell you about why this channel is called this channel and how it sort of happened. NASACOM is a lie, to put it simply. The entire thing is predicated on redemption that I thought I could somehow achieve by saying it enough times. When I was really young, middle school, I had a friend named Jenna, and Jenna was a really sensational person. She was very kind, and she was wonderfully talented at writing, like exceptionally good at writing. And we would type online and make up stories together and role play with each other. And after school, the only thing I could think about doing was getting home and talking to Jenna and just making up these magical worlds, these really incredible worlds. I really, really miss some of that stuff because it was probably some of the best writing I've ever done. Not in technique, but definitely creatively. I mean, I was really open to just my mind doing whatever it wanted. And I just wish I could remember some of the storylines I came up with, because I was really proud of that. Anyway, I grew really fond of Jenna, and in a middle school type way, I wanted to test to make sure that my feelings for Jenna weren't like a lie, I guess. I wanted to make sure that she cared about me. And so I did some pretty horrible stuff. I had a main screen name that I roleplayed with Jenna on, and that was, I don't even remember, it was something else. But I made up this NASACOM screen name. I started saying some pretty awful things to her. Started pretending to be like I knew her, using the information I knew from my other account, from my actual friendship with her, and just to see if she'd come to me when there was a bad guy around. It's a pretty horrible thing to do. I still feel really, really bad about it. And I've apologized a number of times, actually. But that was pretty much the beginning of the end of our relationship, because frankly it was a lousy thing to do, and it wasn't very sneaky. I mean, she figured it out pretty quickly, using some really weird logic that I hadn't noticed, and must have been subconscious or something. It turns out I have really bad spelling, or I did back then, and she figured out it was me because NASACOM is moccasin, which is a type of snake spelled backwards, which I hadn't done on purpose. I had just hit the keyboard a bunch and saw what happened, but it worked. So I don't know. That's how she figured it out, and I always thought that was kind of interesting that it did end up being symbolic before I even knew it. So years come to pass. I lose contact with Jenna, and I need to sign up for something. I don't really remember what it was. Some website, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to try to start over? Like, no more of this NASCOM, no more of this old screen name that I had. I don't remember what it is anymore. I want to start over, and I want to be better. So I sought inspiration from a video game that I was in love with at the time, Final Fantasy 2/4. There's a long explanation. You can Google it to find out what that means. But basically, the main character of that game is what's called a Dark Knight in the very beginning. And you spend a good portion of the game trying to redeem yourself into a paladin. You become a paladin, and then things start going right for the main character. He starts trying to save the world. So I thought, I'll make NASCOM a paladin. Paladin NASCOM. Bam. Redemption solved. And I don't know. I spent a lot of time waiting for that to happen. Like, I just expected that at some point I would be redeemed. Just because I said paladin enough. And that's sort of where the paladin thing came from. I mean, I was always big into paladins anyway. Ultimate justice and all that. But really it was that desperate need to be redeemed for this really bad thing. It was just wrong of me. It was the worst thing I'd ever done in my life up until that point. Some days I really think it is still the worst thing I've ever done, but still, anyway, I don't think about it that much anymore. I'm dwelling on it now very much. I don't dwell on it very much frequently at all. But so years go by. I'm using this Paladin NASCOM screen name, hoping at some sort of absolution. For no real reason. I didn't really work very hard to act like a paladin. I just wanted so badly to be that. I just wanted to be a hero to somebody, I just wanted to be a good guy. Really bad. Wanted to be a knight in shining armor. And I had no idea what kind of suffering that caused my friends. It's only really come up recently that I had those sort of revelations that it's kind of difficult to explain in words. Anyway, it wasn't until probably... Anyway, it wasn't until about October that I realized... It wasn't until October of this year, last year, I guess now, that I realized how messed up I'd gotten. A really close friend of mine said that she couldn't trust me at all. And that was really heartbreaking to me because I valued trust a lot. I thought trust was something defined differently than it really is. I always considered myself a fairly trustworthy person. And ever since I got out of high school, I became less and less and less trustworthy. And it degraded fairly slowly. But near the end here, it got really bad. I didn't even realize the sort of monster I'd turned into, waiting for, I don't know, somebody to say that I was okay. Somebody to say that I was a good guy or something. So anyway, I couldn't deal with that. I lost several friends in the process of this trust issue that had really broken me in several ways. And yeah, it really broke me is probably the best way to put it. Knowing that I had lost her trust reminded me of Jenna, and it really sucked. A lot. It sucked enough for me to actually put my life into perspective. I was angry constantly, not just about that, about everything, about my position in life and where my mind was, and it was kind of an eye-opener. I took a couple months pretty much to myself, trying not to reach out to anybody, talking here and there with people I had known, trying to put my feelers out for what was okay to talk about, trying to get comfortable again. And I realized I just needed to leave it alone and sort of get myself back in order before I tried again. And that's kind of what I did. It wasn't until recently that I was having a conversation with Courtney that I realized that there was a actual screen name that I wanted. Seems silly. The point is this NASCOM name is seated in deceit. I just don't feel comfortable using it anymore. I might use it for like goofy stuff on the side, but it's not the main focus of my life anymore. NASCOM is dead to me. He's not needed, I guess. I don't need to seek redemption for these things anymore because the only person I need to redeem is myself, and I'm the only one that can do that. It sounds really sappy, but it's true. So I've got to deal with that. So the foamy spit thing comes from a conversation with Courtney I had about how when I was a little kid, and I'm talking way little here, one of my earliest memories is wondering how my dad could spit into the sink and have it be foamy. See, when I spit, it was all liquidy and stringy and gross, and when my dad did it, it was so mature and old and manly. Recently, when I started taking better care of myself and not worrying about all the other crap, but actually physically taking care of myself, I realized that I have foamy spit, just like my dad. This is a big deal, because it means I'm an adult now. And it's sort of revelation I haven't had. I've been living as a teenager out of high school for a long, long time. And I got caught up in the same drama that you sort of do. It seems weird to think that somebody can have a complete 180, but I really do feel like I've changed. Not even a year ago, I wasn't nearly ready for commitments and videos like this. I wouldn't talk about this personally at all. I'd just sort of hide from it. But the truth is I need to tell somebody, and so I thought I'd tell everybody. Because you're my friends, and I trust you. Thanks for listening. Bye!